it's Schalathia Nikole, and I'm back coming to do this natural glam look for you guys in a little chit chat. Get ready with me. Let me know what you guys think, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. And also subscribe to my channel, select the notification bell so you'll be notified next time I post a new video. And come on in, let's get started with this video. Hi loves, I'm back, and yes, so let's get into this look. I wanted to go ahead and just do a natural makeup look while chatting with you guys a little bit on a few things that has happened in my life. Okay, so first things first, all the products that I'll be using in this video will be down in the description bar. I won't be really showing products, I'll just be doing more talking and doing my makeup. So yeah, let's get started. I just wanted to come and talk to you guys about a time in my life where, well, me and my family, we were relocated. So let me take you back a couple years. Okay, so while I was in high school, my mom decided to get a job in Iraq with KBR. Her company actually, I think, transferred her there. And as a transfer, I mean, she like became a contractor, you know, driving trucks and stuff overseas. She stayed there for at least 5 years, y'all. Like, I think 5.5 years if I'm not mistaken. So basically my whole high school years, my mom was like gone in Iraq. So graduated high school, she came, well, this is what happened. She came home to visit us and said, oh, I'm coming home in like 6 months. And we're like, wait, what? You know, so at this time, I'm like 20, 21. I think I was 20. And my mom decided to come home. And at that time, I had younger siblings. And as a 21-year-old, like from the time that she left to the time that she came back, you could say that we literally lived in the U.S. by ourselves, because the person that she had as a caregiver wasn't really a caregiver. Yeah, he was like the worst person for the job. I ran away from home, I did all kind of stuff, but that's a whole nother story. So as I was saying, I ran away from home a couple times, and so I decided to go stay with my aunt. And in the midst of me staying with my aunt, I got a job at Walmart. I know this look really awkward. So I got a job at Walmart, and then eventually I got my own apartment. And so the moment I actually got my own apartment and got settled in, got my, you know, own life going on, my mom decides to come back home from Iraq and say, hey kids, I'm coming home within 6 months, and yeah, you guys can come live in Dallas and I'll take care of you. And I'm like, I just got this apartment, so, you know, who's gonna, you know, I really want to come stay with you because I haven't really been with you for like 5 years. And so she was like, don't worry about it, like, you know, let's just go ahead and move to Dallas, because I met this guy, we're getting married. And I'm like, okay, it sounds like a deal to me. So I had to find somebody to take over my lease. I had to find someone to take over my apartment. The person I gave my apartment to was one of my best friends. We were friends since middle school. And this girl, let's just call her Lisa, okay? So Lisa takes over my lease. I'm working as a medication aide, and I absolutely love my job because I love older people, like their stories, you know. And so I lived my boyfriend of 5 years in Houston, and I love my good job I just got promoted at. And yeah, so my mom comes home 6 months later, and we meet the guy, and he's like, yeah, the reason why we're coming home is because, you know, we hit the jackpot. And I'm like, the jackpot as in, he was basically going on this whole rant about how, you know, they're suing the U.S. government, how, you know, we're like the real aboriginals, and all kind of stuff, you know, stuff I never heard of before. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's crazy, because, you know, we have Indian in our blood, you know, as African Americans, you know, we've been told that most of our lives. And so, while in the midst of this whole thing going on, like, so in the midst of this whole thing going on, I was still kind of skeptical, because I'm like, I never heard anything like this before. Like, this can't be real. So as a African American, you know, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, you know, so the U.S. government owe us Indians, us African Americans, money. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna, we found someone who's gonna help us get that money out of the Treasury Department. And I'm like, oh, what? That's crazy. And so he was like, yeah, and he just like breaking down so many things that I've never heard of. Okay, so as I'm hearing all of these new things that I've never heard of, okay, I am still skeptical, but at the same time, a part of me is like, no, sis, like, find out what he's talking about, like, because this really could be a life changer for you and your family, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'll listen to my mom and just move to Dallas and see what's going on. So I left my I left all of my friends, I left my boyfriend of 5 years to move to Dallas, okay? So much happened in that 1 year, and I moved to Dallas. I leave my apartment with one of my best friends from middle school, and a month later, her and her baby daddy got into it, and they broke the lease to the apartment. And mind you, at that time, they gave me the money for the rent because they had just got their taxes, and I was just like so upset with myself that I didn't take the money, because I now had a broken lease on my record. And so I'm like, why? How can I have been that dumb? Like, I was just blaming myself for everything. So then we get to Dallas, and I'm trying to figure out my life. I'm in a new area. I don't know anybody. Mind you, we live in like the suburbs, like houses that like are still being built. We lived in a neighborhood where like NFL players were like down the street from your house, like neighborhood. Time go on, we're living in this house, this huge house. I think it was at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it was a 5 or 6 bedroom house, right? And mind you, like, the guy is still talking like, you know, his house is paid for. We don't have to worry about anything. Life is good. We don't have to work. My mom was even under the understanding that we didn't have to work. I think she still continued to work a little while, like, but that's just to keep money coming in until like the big check hit from the Treasury Department, okay? And so as time go on, he eventually, like, it gets real because we're over here. Our family members are moving to where we live in Dallas, right? Everyone's relocating because everybody's like, oh, we're about to hit big, you know? And mind you, the guy is on the phone the whole time. Like, we're literally seeing him on the phone having meetings with different people on how they're gonna get this money. So as time go on, I mean, I wasn't there like all the time when he would have these meetings, but my mom was there most of the time, and she would tell us that, yeah, it's happening soon. And I was still like, oh my God, I can't believe my life is really about to change, because I grew up in a single parent home. You hear me? So I know the struggles of life. I've struggled majority of my life. Even as a kid, like, dream of just having that one time in their life where they don't have to worry about anything, and you know, you can have kids, plan your life how you want because you have the money too. So yeah, as time went on, things started to get a little weird. And this is where, when I tell you, like, really weird, it starts to get really weird. So he finally confessed to my mom that he doesn't own the house, that he's going to lose the house, y'all. And I'm like, what? You're gonna lose what? I thought you owned this house, you know? And so we're like, okay. So he's pulling our leg, and he was like, but the money's coming through soon. We just have to do what we have to do in order to, you know, to sustain us until the money comes through. And so one day he has a meeting, and yeah, the guys that he's having the meeting with, they're like, yeah, we just sent over information to the bank that we're about to deposit. Mind you guys, this contract or whatever they had going on was for $800 million. $800 million. I'm like, I don't think nobody in my generation has ever even had that much money, you know? And so I'm like, $800 million. And so, if you guys do not know, like, if you're going to go purchase a multi-million-dollar house or anything that's like, I think more than $50,000 maybe, you have to have something drawn up by the bank. It's basically kind of like a bank statement. I forgot the name of it, but in order for you to even take a look or even purchase anything or even get a tour, for that matter, of a multi-million-dollar house, you have to have proof from your bank that you have the money in your possession, or the money's being processed or something, you know. So the guy calls us, and he actually went through and actually sent over the information and the whole thing that they're actually about to deposit $800 million into our bank account. Okay, so I'm like, this is really happening. My life is about to change, like, you know. And so at this time, I'm just like happy because I'm like thinking about all the things I can do with $800 million. And then on top of that, we got the notice from the bank, went to the real estate company. They gave us tours of multi-million-dollar homes. We already picked out our houses where we're gonna live. My house was like $3.5 million. It's actually a castle home. I'm gonna insert a picture of the home for you guys. I actually toured this home. It was gonna be mine. And we were just planning out our lives, okay? Like, we were planning out everything. So, as we're planning, and this, like, say this is a whole month. So, this is like a whole, like, month or so. We're actually planning and window shopping basically for homes. We know we already gonna have the money coming in through the bank account any day now, so we like, okay, let's secure our, you know, living space, because the house that we're living in, he doesn't own anyway, and he's about to lose it to foreclosure. Okay, so mind you, he told us that he owned the house in the beginning, right? But one day was one day, and we got a knock at the door. So the knock on the door was the police, and we're like, how may I help you? And we're thinking like, oh my God, like, what's going on? You know, like, somebody get kidnapped, or do you have bad news to tell us? Like, you know. And so at that time, I'm the only one up getting breakfast together for everybody and everything. So yeah, the guy was like, police officer was like, yeah, are you the owner of this house? And I'm like, no, let me get them, hold on. And so he had like a note in his hand, like a letter in his hand, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And so I went to go get the guy and my mom out of the room, and they were like, what's going on? So he went to go grab his paperwork showing that, you know, we are the real Aboriginals and that the police are out of their jurisdiction because of such and such law. And he even had this taped up on his window of the door of the house, and he had it taped up inside of the bedroom window, like if anybody came on the property, all kind of stuff. But so Mr. Aboriginal, his paperwork didn't work. Come to find out, we weren't the real Aboriginals, because we're not. He was told to step aside, and the police took over at that point, and they were like, yeah, we need you guys out of this house. And he was like, well, we just filed for, you know, for bankruptcy and is going to postpone. He was like, no, this house has been in foreclosure for almost a year now, and you have to get out of this house today. And the police officer was like, we already have the moving company here, and they're just going to place all of your belongings on the yard, okay? And I'm like, on the yard? Like, so So he had this police officer had a whole crew ready to put us out. Okay, so at this point I'm like, this can't be happening. Show him, like, you know, we have $800 million in the process. Like, why aren't we, you know, why, first of all, if we have $800 million that's going through, why can't we just go ahead and pay for this house so we can have somewhere to stay, you know? And so as that's going on, I'm just like, what in the world? I'm just trying to make sure nobody touched my important stuff. And that morning I got up, I was just like not expecting that. But yeah, so the police officer, they put our stuff on the line. So my siblings were at school during this time, and they just took all of our stuff as is and put it on the line. If you guys knew how embarrassing that really was for me and my family, you will be like, and mind you, like, we live in a neighborhood of multi-millionaires, doctors, nurses, like, just, it was just so embarrassing, you guys. Like, I can't explain. Like, the thing is that we've been homeless before, but this hit differently, especially when you were actually getting your life together outside of, you know, your parents' help. And just to go through that again as an adult, and it was just like, what in the world? Like, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid ever happening. To me, that's just something that I've always tried to control, was the fact of, and I always promised myself that I would never be homeless, you know? I would never put myself in a position to where, you know, I was homeless. And so just to go through that was just like very traumatic for me. So by the end of the day, my siblings, they get home from school, everyone, my cousins, because mind you, at that time, we had at least 15 people living in that one home in a 5-bedroom house, okay? So my aunt and her 4 kids, my mom and her 3 children, and my mom then fiance and his kids. It was just a lot altogether, that whole experience. Living in a house 1 second and then the next second you don't have nowhere to go. You even can't even go back to your own apartment in Houston because your friend broke the lease of the apartment. So just to be in a situation to where you're like hopeless, it was just like, wow. And at that moment, I realized, I was like, in life, you guys, you can't depend on no one. You can trust no one but God, because we were literally depending on this guy and what he said he would do for us, you know? And so at that moment of my life, I realized, like, you have to take your own destiny into your own hands and not depend on people for what they say they're going to do, because if people say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. You don't have to ask them about it. You don't have to keep asking them about it. You don't have to ask for a referral. Like, if somebody's going to do it for you, they're going to do it. They're going to be a person of their word, you know? And so at that moment in my life, I was like, God, I depend on nobody but you, because even this man who said, oh, we were going to be multimillionaires, that couldn't even really save us at that moment in time from the embarrassment that we felt. So mind you, a couple days later, we get calls from, I think it was from the guy, friend or whatever, who was helping him with the whole contract, and to get the $800 million. The investors or the people that was in it pulled out. Okay? These people pulled out. So that means we definitely don't have no money coming through. No money coming through, okay? So we were just all messed up. Like, how can we even trust him? And like, we were blaming him for a little while, but then at the same time we were like, well, I can't say we, because my brother, he was just like, I told y'all, man. I told y'all it was too good to be true. And I was like, whatever, you know, sometimes you gotta just take a chance. But I was just like, just really messed up with the fact that I feel like we got played, you know? My mom took her savings and everything. She lost her car in the process. Her car got repoed. But my mom had a Chrysler 300 and she was so in love with it. And she lost it. It got repoed because we're depending on this $800 million to come through, and none of us in this mansion is working, okay? We just have enough money for food, and if we did work, we had like got small jobs, and then, for example, we'll quit because we like, I have money coming through. I even remember me getting fired from a job, and I'm telling them, y'all need me, because you know, I was just that prideful. And I believe that during that time, it was just a learning lesson for me. And God really showed me himself that he's in control of all things. Like, that promotion comes from God and not from man. And so if it's in your destiny, if it's in God's will for you to be at a certain level in your life, then it will happen. I do not feel like we do things out of our own strength. Yes, God gives us the gifts, but the opportunity God gives, you know what I mean? So most definitely that experience was a humbling experience. And I do believe that if it had not happened, I would not be where I am now in Christ. I would literally have been a lover of money. I will be selfish. I will be so self-centered. I will be prideful. I would feel like you guys don't even know the half of where I was some years ago, okay? So, and that was at the age of 20, okay? So now I'm currently going on my mid-30s, and so just that experience was just a lot for me. And so as I really look over my life, I thank God for not allowing that opportunity to happen for us. A lot of people will be like, you crazy, $800 million, you could have been like a multi-millionaire, could have been doing this with your life and all that. But at the same time, God has his reasons for not doing things at that time. I'm so grateful it didn't happen, because I would be a hot mess, you guys, a hot one. I'm not gonna even lie. So yeah, y'all, I've been through the absolute most over the years, and slowly over time you guys will get to know me a little bit better and know my heart and why I think the way I do. And so you guys, never depend on a man for anything. And not a man, I'm just like people in general, woman or man, for anything. I'm not saying that we don't need each other, but let the source and where your help come from, let it be God, Jesus Christ, okay? Because people will let you down, people will flake on you any moment they feel like it's not, you know, in their best interest, or they just don't feel like doing it for you at that moment, all kind of stuff. So keep in mind to keep God first as the head of your life, and just keep pushing through, like, because at the end of the day, like, you can't say, oh, I did this because of this person, or, you know, you have to hold yourself accountable, be accountable, and also trust God, because his plan, his will, everything for your life always add up and align up with, you know, what your purpose is. So guys, if you have any similar stories or anything, let me know down in the comment section. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, I know you want to. Go ahead, I'll wait. So let me know what you guys think about this makeup tutorial, this chit-chat makeup get ready with me. I actually want to do something a little quite different because I really want you guys to get to know me a little bit better. I mean, just so you can get a feel of my personality and me and what I've been through, and get to know my story. And yeah, but let me know what you guys think. I look forward to many more videos with you guys. I can't wait for the next couple videos because I'm going to be telling you a lot. So thank you so much for watching. See you later, love.